I am so happy with how this looks for the Rangers. We have a pitcher, Jack Leiter, and he is a dude.
And while I do think his hitting is worse than Derek Jeter, it's not that far off.
You're not mentioning 2006. You can mention the other people, not 2006.
Oh, just because I bought the best soap doesn't mean your room's going to be clean. It just leaves it to where I don't believe that the Canadians had a shot.
I really don't like the Clippers just kind of sending it in when they're like,
Hi, this is Kelly Forbes with the Dallas Stars, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by the man that I texted calling for the ball to talk about this on why I like it as an idea. There are two cons, or two problems with it, is there's an 83rd game for the championship. And then the second one is if the players don't buy into it, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think there's potentially more, but I'd love to hear your case for why it's good.
But here's the thing. This is about the midseason tournament. I'll go into a little bit. The NBA Cup, which they win for winning the tournament, to me, does not carry very much weight to the players. Or the only thing I would use it is I'm comparing it to the FA Cup, and I think it could be a fun thing to use in someone's career of how, okay, was this team, were they just good overall the entire year? Or did they go on a late season run? Like a 2011 Mavs? Or were they like the well, it'd be interesting. Would the Nuggets, if the Nuggets had won the NBA Cup and the championship, I think that'd be really cool because that means they were good throughout the entire year. It doesn't diminish them winning the championship. It's just something to compare. So yeah, do you get what I'm saying? But I don't.
Then why is it good?
Then I think they've been a great team. They've been one of the best teams throughout the year. It's not.
But what is good about the cup? What is it? What is good about it?
So the good thing about the cup is, to me, it makes the first half of the regular season important, or it carries some more value. Because
but here's my thing about that is it always matters, right? Because at the end, if the one game you lose at the beginning of the season is the same as the one game you lose at the end if you miss the playoffs by a game, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking more. I think the plan diminishes that, so they need to get rid of the plan. That needs to happen because, to me, I don't get what the plan was. I think the plan was trying to make the regular season more valuable, but when you're talking, I know this is probably not an issue for you. And to me, I'll still watch games in the beginning, but people I've talked to is like, why would I watch in the first half? Like, it just gets good in the playoffs. I'm not going to watch the entire NBA season. My argument to them would be, well, you have these NBA Cup, and the thing is, these are based off matchups in the regular season. That's something I like. I thought it was going to be an extra 12 amount of games. No, it's just using the regular season games to count toward something else where players can earn $500,000.
But the players who are going to win or lose those games don't need the $500,000 is my thing. It's
like, it's not going to matter to Luka, but what about Omax or Derek Lively?
But how much run are those players getting in those games this year?
Well, they're just regular season games, yeah, that's true on this year. But if you're talking about like a fringe NBA player,
but those fringe NBA, that's my thing, Kevin. The fringe NBA players aren't the reason why you win the game. The reason why you're going to win an NBA Cup is the difference between Embiid, Tatum, Curry, Doncic, Luka. Or I said Doncic and Luka, but those those huge players, Durant, LeBron. The fringe NBA player isn't going to make the difference.
No, but if you're Luka and you're just going to tell your teammate, yeah, I don't care if I help you get you $500,000. I'm kind of fine.
It's not about the money. It's about winning a ring at the end of the year. That's what I tell
Well,
them.
yeah, but
Hey,
this helps
Kawhi,
if you're winning. If you're winning at the beginning of the year, it's setting you up in the final to be a great team.
but
So that's
that's
why.
anyways. That's without the cup.
Well, that's for all teams. But if you're a fringe NBA playoff team, like if you're the Heat, if you're Jimmy Butler, why would I care? Like, dude, I can just go on the plan. But if you get rid of the plan and move it to 6 teams,
We need to look what it is with the plan
okay,
though.
fine. To me, though, it makes the beginning of the regular season. It's just adding more value to the beginning of the regular season for fans. The problem, if players buy it, that's players have to buy
I
it.
don't see what the incentive is for players. For players that are gonna win or lose you games, let me put it like that. For the
Okay.
all stars that are already making 20+ million a year, why does it matter to them? They're not gonna try any harder so that their friend can get $500,000 when you get money for winning. Like, for example, in the NFL, I know for a fact that you get more money for winning the Super Bowl. You'll get more than $500,000 just for winning an NBA championship. So why don't just put all your effort towards that?
But if you're already a good team and you want to have good standings, you're already going to be in contention for this championship.
I guess, but then why does it matter? Why aren't you just trying to go for the 1 seed and not necessarily worry about the one game in the championship against and
Well, yeah, but you would still get extra. You get 200 grand, so all the players get that. So to me, the thing that I am using it for is like for someone that's like, oh, I don't care about the beginning. Well, there's kind of this midseason tournament where you could see happen, and the thing is, you're talking about championship teams. It does apply to them by they're trying to be good and make it to the 1 seed. But if you're, let's say, the Thunder or Pelicans team that's on the border of a playoffs, those guys really haven't gotten their payday yet. But this kind of simulates. It's different, but we're talking about in the summer league. It kind of creates a very contentious playoff environment for those young teams building.
but even those
it's
young
not
teams that are
exactly-
trying 100% aren't beating a Nuggets team at home. The Nuggets are
No, but
already
it's
a
one
great
game. We don't know. It's one game. It's not a series.
But okay, that's I think part of the problem with it comparative to everything else in the NBA is it being a 1 game showdown where okay, are we going to count the championship where we're in the semifinals, the Clippers are there and Paul George and Kawhi sit out? Do we care? Do we care that the Magic make a miracle run to the finals when they face the Clippers in the semifinal against a no Paul George and no Kawhi Clippers team, and in the championship, someone's also sitting out. Like, does it matter at that point?
That then it shows that the midseason tournament isn't working, and then teams and the Clippers aren't buying it. But the thing is, they are not it's not equal. It is totally not equal. It's not in the same world as an NBA championship. It's just
But that's why I don't get what incitement is it? It's really just for. I don't want to say casual fans, but it really is.
No, but it is. It is. That's why I like it. And players, to me, it's the money amount for their teammates. And it could show, you could use it for someone like me that says Jimmy Butler doesn't try in the first half of the season or for the regular season. He just cares when it's playoffs. But if he
But
does
he could
win
just
an
care
NBA
for those few games.
Well, yeah, but that's at the beginning of the season where it's kind of lull, and then you get to the second half where it gets very important in your standings. Because we've seen teams have a bad first half and make it to the NBA Finals. We saw that with the Celtics 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So to me, the first half, like you said, it could go pinpoint to that, but you can really dig yourself out of a rut. Like the Mavs did it; they made it to the Final Four. They had a bad first half too, but for teams that can get off running better, this really helps them in the standings, and it just gives more value for the fans of, oh, their teams competing for this.
My
And I
problem
don't.
is if all the teams buy in, it's not going to change who's in the. It's not going to change who wins the one game.
I would disagree.
I don't see how in one game the Wizards beat the Nuggets just because
Then
the NBA it means a lot now because the Wizards are a young team and a lot of the players aren't getting paid as much. Does that mean the Wizards? Sure, the Wizards try harder, but in the same word, we have no way of guarding Jokic, so why try?
but March Madness is just to a bigger scale.
March
It's
Madness
one
is
game.
different.
It's
This
one
is
game
the
though.
championship. This is it. This is what you're giving your entire season
Are you
for.
talking
Is
about
March
NBA
Madness
championship or the midseason championship?
midseason tournament?
It's
Midseason
one
tournament. I don't
game
see.
though.
No,
One
but
guy could
Kevin,
have a
it's
bad
not
night.
the end goal. At the end of the day, is anyone going to care about your legacy? You win 20 straight in season tournaments.
That actually, I would say, to the excessive degree. But to me, it's not going to be used in the GOAT debate.
You can't compare it to March Madness though, because it's not even in the same.
No,
It's
but
not the
you get okay.
championship.
It's not the exact same thing as March Madness, but it's the same concept. It's one game. It's one game where anything can
It's
happen.
it's not really the same. It's more like the World Cup than it is anything
Okay.
else because there's a group stage. It's not one game and you're out.
Well,
There's
yeah,
not the
but once you get to the knockout stage and you get to that championship, it's one game. It's not a series. It's one game. It's There's so much can happen in one game. That's why it's different from the NBA playoffs because
But again, I know it's one game, but again, it's one game where the difference between the teams could be drastic. It could be the Rockets against the Celtics, and I don't know how in even one game we expect that to change the result. Just because I just don't
well,
see
8
why
times
they
out
would
of
care.
10 it would most likely the Celtics win that matchup. But you're still at 2 times out of 10. Where in the series that doesn't matter. Maybe the Rockets get one win in a playoff series. But so that's my thing is it's giving more to the casual fan. For the players, it gives them something just more money for their buddies. If they're saying no to your buddy, I don't care on helping you. To me, that's going to create a chemistry problem. And just like, dude, why wouldn't you care? It's so that's my thing. There are problems with it, but to me, this is a much better attempt at making the regular season matter compared to the play.
The only way to make the regular season matter more is to have less teams make the playoffs.
Yes, which is
The
why
reason
I
why
would love it. Even
the MLB regular season is so enjoyable for me is that I know they added one more playoff spot, but it's still only 6 of 30, which is or 6 of 15, which is 40% of the league makes the playoffs, which is makes it to where those games you lose in June, they matter. They matter come September, come October. And I don't get that feeling from the NBA because again, if you lose the in-season tournament championship, well, I don't really care. Like, well, let's just keep trying for the actual goal.
yeah,
You're
and
not going
that's
to have a
easier
player
with the
play.
play-in.
There's stories of people playing through injury and all that other stuff in the playoffs, but I could never see a guy.
Yeah, that's not going to happen in the midseason tournament.
But isn't that a problem? Is that there's not that same intensity? You're talking about a playoff environment, but do you really think players are going to be playing like it is?
I think for younger teams, it is. Like, if
Why,
we're
why
talking
doesn't
about,
this? You go.
well, it's like the FA Cup. Like,
No, but
it's a nice trophy,
again,
but it's. I'm not going to use it in the GOAT debate. It's just going to be nice for young
the
teams.
FA Cup matters more for me in English football because if you think about it, there is no playoffs. The EPL title is a regular season award where you think of FA Cup as those are you're going for a championship and any team could actually win it. You know what I mean? But
Or
at
I'm
the
not
start of
very
the season,
familiar with the FA Cup, but I just know it's like a mid-season tournament, almost like.
yes, but you know who wins the EPL is not the team that. There's no playoffs
Yeah.
for the EPL.
Yeah, it's
So it's not really the same as the FA Cup. The FA Cup is like, here's where you get to see the one game advance, and here's just a regular season to where every win matters.
But don't the games in the FA Cup apply?
No.
Okay. So, but to me, I view it as where it's a separate award. But to me,
why does it turn into the All-Star game?
Huh?
What? Like, I don't see it much further than an All-Star game environment. Kind of with the NBA, like players are going to be trying to do more. Yes, like an All-Star
maybe
game.
with the championship. In the championship, since that's an 83rd game, that's what I don't like about it. It's an extra game, but everything else is just.
Does that? Do you know if that 83rd game counts towards the standings? Because
no, it doesn't. It just counts toward the tournament. That's the only thing I really don't like. Is it's why would I play an extra game outside of money when I'm competing? Everything else is built into the regular season, which I like. And other teams are still going to play regular season games. It's just on Tuesdays and Fridays, that's when you can watch the game and go, okay, this is part of the group stage. They are competing for the NBA midseason tournament, but it impacts the standings. That's what I like about it. It's not a separate tournament. It's just on the way to an NBA championship. If you're a good team, or if your team, like the Pelicans last year, probably would have been in the NBA, would have been in the wouldn't have been a finalist for that midseason tournament because they were the first seed until February, right?
I don't remember.
I remember they were the number 1 seed for a long time, or it seemed a long time.
Yeah, it was a while.
So it's something that to me.
But doesn't it make it worse if you win the in-season tournament but then do poorly in the playoffs? Doesn't that look bad?
To me, it just shows you had a great start to the season. You couldn't finish that season.
But wouldn't it still be a bad look? Or no?
Well, it depends on, like, are you talking about the Clippers or the Suns? To me, it's situational based. So it could have a bad look if you're the Suns who win this in-season tournament and then lose in the first round.
If the Mavs win the in-season tournament, but then don't make it out of the first round of the playoffs, are you happy?
No. I think it'd just be something funny. And something that it would be bad, but if you're like the Thunder, to me it's not a bad thing. It's just they don't have that continuancy. Or they don't have that drive. Because to win an NBA championship, you have to push hard at the end of the season and when you get into the playoffs. After such a long season that you've done.
Yeah, I just don't know how much is going to be taken seriously, and I don't think it really is all that important. It's like an All-Star Game MVP. Does that matter to a legacy?
I think it's more than an All-Star MVP. People are going to be trying in this environment, in my opinion. It's not like the All-Star Game where...
People are trying in the All-Star Game. Curry dropped like 40 in the All-Star Game.
Yeah, but last year's All-Star Game was awful. There was no defense played at all.
I guess, but when we're looking at legacies, are you going to take a guy... Like, again, this is what I talked to you before. Kobe, Jordan, never got to play in it. So can you hold it against them that, hey, this
I'm
player's
not going to hold them against them. I'm not going to hold an NBA Cup champion. I don't value the NBA Cup. If the NBA is trying to make the NBA Cup equal the Larry O'Brien trophy, then I'm not going to be a fan of that. I just view this as
a way to get casuals to watch the league.
Yeah, for guys that are like, well, I'm not really interested in watching the beginning. Well, here you go. The beginning is while they're working for this, they also are competing for this NBA Cup, which I think for younger teams it applies well. The only teams that wouldn't want to do it are tanking teams. But if you're a middling team and where your guys haven't gotten payday yet, to me, yeah, Shai got his money. But what's a team?
Shea, yeah.
Or Shea, yeah. Who's another?
But the problem with
The
those teams
Magic.
is,
The Magic.
well, the problem is the Magic. Are they gonna be? I guess you could say, but
It's one game, and you.
I
That's my
can't. I
thing.
can't. I still can't.
There's
buy
a
it,
knockout
though.
stage, and there's a championship. The knockout stage applies to the regular season. The championship, I'm pretty sure, does not because it's an extra game. So it's one. It's not series. It's just games. It's one game where
I still can't buy that a team would try extra hard to win $500,000.
If
I
you're
don't.
the Orlando Magic,
The Magic still have players that are making good money though.
but most of them aren't.
But the players that are going to win you the games are.
And you think the guy is going to be like, man, I don't care about this money. Why
It's
should
not
I
that I'm
do
going to be, I don't care, but I'm not going to see a playoff environment from that guy. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to see Jimmy Butler-esque
It's not
performances.
going to be the NBA playoff environment. It's going to be something close to it.
I just don't buy in that they're not going to treat it. I don't buy. They're gonna try. I'll give them that, but they're not going to try harder than a usual NBA game. That's what I don't buy.
I
Is that
think
the
they're going
knockout
to try
stages
more than that.
maybe in one game in the championship I could see, but in the actual entirety of the tournament, I don't think most people try harder than just a regular NBA game right here. And yes, someone will drop 60 and people will say, "Oh wow, the NBA tournament's actually doing well," but we see people drop 60 in regular NBA games too. I don't think it's going to be that magical when someone does it in the first knockout stage.
I think once it gets later on, then it gets closer to the playoff environment. Group stage is going to be similar to a regular season game because they're basically regular season games. But once you get to that knockout stage, I think it's going to mean a little bit more than just a regular season game. And then the championship, I have no idea because it's an 80. I don't like it being an extra. That's the only thing I don't like is you're telling this team play an extra game.
Yeah. I look, I appreciate the idea. I think it's better than I anticipated that it would be. I like that they're trying something new. I just don't see how it works. I don't think it'll look. I watch a lot of NBA games, anyways. I'll watch games throughout the entirety of the season, but I don't think it's gonna make me want to watch a game more. I already want to watch a game. I'm gonna watch it.
Well, yeah,
But
I don't think it's gonna bother you and me. To me, it'll be like, oh, this would be kind of cool, but like, I'm gonna watch the beginning of the Mavs season because I just love watching the players and how they're doing. But I think for other people that are like, I don't really care, they may be interested more in watching it. The problem is the buy-in from the players, and then just as long as the NBA doesn't say it equals the Larry O'Brien Trophy or is in the same universe.
yeah, I'm not fully bought in, but I like to see how it will work.
Yeah, I'm mostly bought in. There are some problems, but this is much better than what I thought it was going to be, and I like this way more than the play-in. I hope they get rid of the play-in and just make it 6 teams on each side. Because
At least go back. At least go back to 8. At least.
Because there is an argument for the play-in. People want to say the Lakers and Heat, but I don't value that because they were already in the playoffs. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. All right. So did I convince you a little bit more on liking the idea or no change?
I think I need to see proof before I become more of a fan or less of a fan.
Okay. Yeah, I am interested to see how it goes, but yeah. So let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.